Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you.
Oh, hi there, and welcome to part 13 of Chrono Trigger. After finally passing through Site 32, we can head over to the east where you will find an old factory, but more importantly, where we're supposed to find another time gate, the Proto Dome. So, come on in and we have some enemies to fight. I apologize in advance, I have a really bad sore throat today, so I'm probably going to be like sucking on a cough drop and drinking lots of water while I film, so I'm sorry in advance. I'll try to be as not irritating as possible. Anyways, in this little dome you do actually get attacked by some enemies. These are nothing more than some exterminators. Not much to say about them, pretty generic enemies. At this point, I have not healed in forever, so I really need to heal. Don't worry about the enemies here. There's only 2 sets of enemies, and they don't respawn if you come back here. Most enemies in Chrono Trigger do respawn, but there are areas in the game where enemies don't respawn, and this is one of those areas, conveniently, because you may come here quite a bit, especially since there is actually a time gate in this place. On this second batch of enemies, Chrono's Cyclone should be a one-shot as long as you're strong enough, so you can knock out 3 of them pretty easily. And then that's it for the enemies in Proto Dome. Not too bad, and then after the fight, amen! There is a Enetron. I have not healed since, like, it was either before the Guardian or before the Abandoned Sewers. It's been a long time since I've healed, because I forgot to. Anyways, come up here, and, well, there's a door, but it's not open. What's this thing? What? It's a robot. Interesting. Cutscene time. Neat little cutscene. That does remind me of something that a lot of people on part 1 of the walkthrough commented on how the art looked like Dragon Ball Z. And in case you weren't aware, it's the same artist who did, like, the person who made the Chrono Trigger cutscenes and stuff. That's the same artist as the person who does Dragon Ball Z. I've never really followed Dragon Ball Z, but for those of you who have and you're like, oh my god, it looks like Dragon Ball Z, that's why. You're not crazy, and no, Chrono Trigger's not like ripping off their art style. Same artist. Anyways, Luca has the bright idea to fix this robot, because, you know, we haven't been attacked by nothing but robots for the past how many parts? Brilliant. Well, it is Luca. Holy moly, she's from 1000 AD and she knows how to work on robots. Like, I don't get it. Oh. Oh my... Oh. This song. This song. The robot. It's rickrolling me. Okay. I mean, like I said, can't say I'm surprised anymore. It's a very polite robot. I can't say I've ever talked to a robot before. I like how he's like, that manner of address could potentially cause offense. I am incapable of offensive speech. Don't you wish some humans were incapable of offensive speech? Anyways, what's his name? His name is, well, I should say its name is R66Y. No, we're not gonna be referring to him as R66Y. I like how Luca's like, cool. R66Y, what a neat name. No, his name that we're going to go by in this walkthrough is Robo. I know, right? It's about as original as Frog. His real name is R66Y if you go by serial number, though. A lot of like I said, a lot of the playable characters in this game do have a real name. Like Marla is actually Princess Nadia. Frog has a real name too, but we'll get to that later down the road. Anyways, Robo. So yeah, we need to get in the back there. I'm not sure how to say this, but the world got, you know, destroyed. Are you capable of comprehending that? And yeah, we're from this time gate, and we really want to get home because this place sucks. I mean, have you seen it outside? It's like a endless snowstorm of debris. Anyways, Robo's actually going to be helpful, and he's going to inform you the power was shut off, and that there's an emergency power generator for the dome in the factory to the north. So, Robo's going to help you along with that. However, generator only produces power for a short time, so somebody has to stay back. That's the game's way of saying, hey, 3 people on a party at a time. Later, after we finish getting out of this time zone, they'll address the 3-party limit. Anyways, you can choose who you want to stay behind. For now, I'm going to have Marla sit back, but I'm going to probably be splitting the Derelict factory into 2 parts, including this one. So I'll switch between the 2. My goal for the walkthrough is to try to use all the playable characters somewhat equally to try to show different types of styles of combat and whatnot. So anyways, next location is the Derelict factory. It is to the north if you missed it earlier, and immediately upon entering, going to be a computer screen that you have to walk up to. Robo is going to punch in some things, and oh boy, what is that? There are a lot of these enemies in this place. They're acids, and yes, that you saw that correctly. That was 1 hit point of damage. These enemies are very, very weird. They have only 10 hit points, and they take so little damage. They will take at least 1 hit point of damage. Now, there is a quick way to beat them. Wind Slash is super effective against them, and it's a one-shot. So just keep that in mind. If you don't want to waste your magic points, then use it sparingly. It's up to you. Anyways, this place is split into 2 halves, the left half and the right half. Now, you don't, believe it or not, even though it may not seem like it, you never actually have to go down the right path. But there's a lot of good stuff down this right side, so we're going to go exploring here, and then after we finish exploring this half, then I'll probably split the video into another part. Anyways, climb down the steps. There's a weird door over here, and you can head in the back to grab a mid-ether. Now, there's some weird barrels over here. We'll get to that in a bit. This place is actually kind of odd and difficult to navigate. The first time I played this game, I really struggled to navigate around this place. So don't worry too much if you're kind of confused and you get lost. I'll try to guide you through it as well as possible. You can pick up a bandit's bow. That is a weapon for Marla. If you do not have Marla with you and you decide to take Luca with you instead, remember to equip that later on to Marla. It's a good item. It's a much stronger bow than what she's been using. Anyways, there's a weird little conveyor belt here, and there's also enemies on the conveyor belt. Now, if you hit an enemy, you are going to trigger a string of combat battles. First, you can try to sneak your way up here, and you can grab a quick ether, and then I'm going to show you this combat chain. Now, you can completely avoid this chain of battles, but I'm going to show it for your own convenience. So you're going to get picked up by like a robot hand, and then you're going to have to fight a string of battles that involve a lot of enemies. This is version 3.0. This is probably your first experience with version 3.0. Not much to be said about version 3.0. It's not too difficult of an enemy to fight. The main thing about this string of enemies is you keep adding more and more enemies. It's like I don't know how to describe it. But each battle gets progressively a little bit more difficult. Chrono's Cyclone is incredibly useful here because you can hit everybody with it. I also forgot to mention, after I get through this string of battles, I'll go into Robo in a little bit more detail because I didn't really go over Robo at all, since he is a new playable character for you. Robo uses punches. He uses his, I guess his weapon is his arm. That's the way it's described. So he'll use punches to fight enemies, and I would say Robo is probably one of the more well-rounded characters. He's probably actually the bulkiest, like tankiest team member. He's really slow though. That's probably his biggest downside, is Robo is one of the slower playable characters, which kind of is a disadvantage. Now, like I said, he does have a little bit more hit points though, which makes him a little bit more bulky. Now, because he's a robot, he doesn't actually get access to any real magic. But he does have cures, and he also does, oddly enough, get access to magical type attacks. I believe some of his magic is dark, and some of it, I think he actually gets an electric attack as well. Anyways, this is the last battle. There's 5 of these things to fight, and it's a little bit difficult just because of the numbers. Now, Robo does have a cure spell to start off with, Cure Beam, so that will allow you to heal up if you don't have Marla. Marla might be a little bit better if you're newer to Chrono Trigger in terms of navigating this factory, and that's because Marla is just easier to use for beginners with her heals. Anyways, this is where you could work your way if you avoid the robots and come up the conveyor belt. Robo's has a few starting techs. He starts off with Rocket Punch. It's 1 magic point. It's just a punch. Very basic. And then he has Cure Beam, which is pretty decent healing spell. Marla is a better healer, but Robo still has curing magic. That's worth mentioning. And then his next tech that he gets access to is Laser Beam, and this is actually considered dark magic. This is your first dark spell of the game. It costs 3 magic points, and it hits all enemies. So at this stage in the game, it's a really amazing tech. And then you also get access to Supersonic Spin with Chrono, and this also is dark type magic, and it hits all enemies. So Robo provides some very good early magic to the game. Definitely can make some good use of that. In this room we have some bugs, if you remember them from, whatchamacallit, Aris Dome. Not much to say about them. They do have their sleep spell. Wow, I got put to sleep again. I don't normally get put to sleep by these things, but they're having unusually good accuracy on me this playthrough. Or maybe I've just always been really lucky and now I'm being unlucky. Cyclone actually is probably better to use here. I used Wind Slash. That was probably the wrong move of choice. Anyways, nothing much to worry about here. Now, you do want to come down into this room to the south. The first time I played this game, I had never figured this out. Funny story that goes into this place. First time I played this game, the stuff that you're supposed to do on this side of the Derelict factory, I never did it, and I guessed the password codes that you'll have to get access to, and I got through this place. It's really confusing me just saying that. I'll explain it in a few minutes. Anyways, head over here. You can grab yourself a mid potion, and then you can come into this room. In this room, you can grab yourself a mid-ether, 400 gold, and then you can click on this computer screen. And this computer screen is going to give you what I was talking about in terms of passwords. It's going to give you crane control codes, XA and BB. You're going to want to keep that in mind. We'll need that in a moment. And then the 2 robots are going to like start going crazy and you can fight them. The 2 password codes, first time I played this game, didn't know you were supposed to use them. And you need those 2 password codes to get another password. And that password unlocks the door on the left side of the factory. So the first time I played this game, I completely guessed that final password, and I actually got through this place without doing this the proper way. So, I guess I was lucky when I first played this game. I always found the Derelict Factory to be a really confusing place. It is definitely a very tricky area for a beginner. Your first time playing through this area, don't feel too bad if you find yourself getting lost. It's a very confusing place. Anyways, you're going to want to head down to the left. There's some barrels blocking the way. That is what the crane is for. So come into this room, and there's 2 more robots. We can actually dodge them if you carefully navigate by them. I did not carefully navigate by them. You can use Cyclone on them or whatever you want to use to fight them. It would be recommended that between halves of the Derelict Factory, if you're a little bit low on health, feel free to go back to the Proto Dome and heal up. This place isn't too bad. The enemies aren't really that difficult yet. It's more so just navigating it. This place requires some thorough exploration to successfully get yourself through this place. Anyways, after that battle, there is 2 more item boxes we can pick up. I thought I was going to KO it, but I think it lived with like no health. Whoopsies. Anyways, oh, whoa, whoops, I forgot. There's a second battle. Whoopsies, I forgot about that. Anyways, the enemies in this place, I haven't gone into them in too much detail. These are Deverminators. I don't think I've really explained them. I believe they're weak to electric magic. They're also not too bad. The robots in general are pretty generic. There's not much to say about robot enemies. You can pick up a shelter, pick up an ether, and then you're going to come to the crane. And you can put in those codes. It's going to tell you XABY to put in codes. You want to put in XA and BB. And the crane will then move these weird barrels that are blocking your path. And yes, this animation is very, very slow. I really need water. My throat is killing me. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Anyways, we wait. We slowly wait. Oh my goodness. Watching grass grow is more interesting. I could have launched a spaceship to the moon by now. After we finally move those barrels, we could head back through this room. Most enemies that move around, I said this earlier about the rats when they stole potions in Site 16. Typically, things that move around, if you don't move when they make contact with you, it won't actually trigger a battle. So just keep that in mind. You can pick up a Thunderblade here. Now, you probably already have a Thunderblade if you went to the abandoned sewers. And then this computer monitor is what we've finally been looking for. The Zabai Ultra High Security Door Lock System Code. Yay. XABY. Yep, first time I played this game, I guessed that code. I didn't even know what the computer was asking for when it asked for that code. I just pressed buttons and I got it right. I am a genius. Anyways, that wraps up the eastern half of the Derelict Factory. I'm also going to wrap up the part. If you want, go back to the Proto Dome. You can heal. If you want to switch to Marla, I actually do recommend Marla for the second half of the Derelict Factory because there's a boss battle that Marla's a little bit better for. That wraps up this part. Thank you, and good night.